Hello, this is Ronald Allen, Managing Change on Facebook Live Chat. Today's discussion, Psychology of Winning in Life. And this is a real big one. We'll have to take it in chunks. I should have probably labeled it Psychology of Winning in Life, Part 1 of 13. And that's how sometimes it feels, doesn't it? It's a long journey. It's a marathon. And whether you have a lot of support early on in life to those of us who come up by our wits, as corporate executives will say, gut instinct and intuition play a significant role in the success of what we do, how long we stay and remain in the race. So I'm just going to touch on a few items because, Moria, thank you very much for joining in. Because on April the 24th, and I have to admit, this is a little shameless promotion of an event that I'll be speaking at on April the 24th in Trenton, New Jersey, from 3 until 6 with two other associate speakers who I haven't worked with them before. I've met them a few times, and certainly their knowledge in their respective areas. One is a lawyer, corporate lawyer, small business, establishing types of partnerships, the formation of a business, and the other is a lawyer and CPA that talks about the right financing and relationship building through financing. So that's kind of really interesting. A lot of people just look at financing as, do I have good credit? Do I have the revenue or income? Do I have accounts receivables? So you can certainly look for that on a number of social media sites. It is hosted by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association in partnership with Capital Region Minority Chamber of Commerce. Small chamber, very active, very, I would say, strategically positioned, quite frankly. They have another event coming up with Princeton University. I think that's a multi-million-dollar small business procurement opportunity for many. So today's discussion, the psychology of winning in business. How are we going to deal with this? Well, first and foremost, we're going to talk and kind of jump right into the notion of a positive impatience. Positive impatience. What do I mean by that? Positive impatience, the word positive itself, being optimistic, looking for opportunities, the success of your actions, supported by some good recon, good intelligence, research through First Research, which is a free service in your library, and you can get it online. Research and background through Reference USA on small companies. These are tools that the library, your library, has across the country for free, and they are expensive. Some libraries, unfortunately, their budgets have been shrunk, and they can't afford these research tools. So if you are a small business owner, and you need to do some homework in your space, in your industry, companies within your region, your service area, and then to identify key stakeholders, people with the pen. You know the power of the pen? It writes the checks. Okay, it writes the checks. So you have to do your research. Industry, region, the company itself. You can get that from the quarterly reports. And then what's going on, press releases, media pieces. And those you can all get for free through your public library. And I've been an advocate for public libraries forever. I think I still have my library card from England, if they still have them. So in terms of the psychology of winning in life, that is the approach. Research, find objective information, validate that information. The time you actually take, again, like project management, and the time you take to study on what school you want to go to, what certificates you want to achieve, your children going to school, husbands and wives making decisions, as simple as car insurance. I'm like, God, what a headache, right? Who reads a car insurance policy? Who reads social media use and privacy policies? Facebook, Cambridge Analytics rings a bell. So a lot of these strategies we're referring to work across our concerns, work right across our fields. That's the guys playing out there, in case you just heard that. So we said positive impatience is to quickly acquire the information. Don't take all day, paralysis by analysis, right? Don't procrastinate. Get the 75, 80, 85% of data you need and move forward. Because as you move forward, even if you had 100% data, the lay of the land is going to change. Elements in your pot are going to change. I made a nice pea soup. I love peas, all kinds of peas, cow peas, snow peas, kidney peas, red-eyed peas, black-eyed peas and rice, black beans. Not only do I soak them, but I let the meat sit in it, almost like marinating raw meat, like steak tartare. That's what you have to do with information. Let it sit a while. Understand it. In fact, one of the strategies of wealthy people is to look at options of something that you want to get involved with, and then just think about it. Give it a day, a two, a week. The bigger the deal, the bigger the investment, the more significant the action, you should give it at least a representative amount of time just to think of all the data you have. It will certainly change the angst we feel when we think we have to act quickly, especially when we get those salespeople saying, gotta act today because this is the price, this is the only one you're going to get. Then guess what? I don't need it. I don't need it. My life is not a reaction. Your lives should not be reactions. And these are what I refer to now as, and I'm hoping this is mine, tactical strategic gambits. Tactical, what am I physically going to do? How am I going to actually work this out? What are the actual steps? It's like a work breakdown structure in project management, right? Then you have the package breakdown structures. Exactly what are we going to do? Strategic, it's going to take us from where we are to a point defined, a milestone, right? A work package end point. And then the gambit is, it is to advance us, improve our situation, allow us to acquire, and in some cases, discharge a debt, discharge a relationship. So again, the thinking is both positive and negative, addressing those issues. So positive impatience is acting in a positive, optimistic manner because of the amount of input, and then looking at your impatience. The dogs are giving mother a run for her money there. Another area that we're going to touch on at this workshop, and by the way, we're looking at having it available through social media, because we've set up a site, I think it's called Restream, that's right, RESTREAM.com, which allows us to set up our social media sites on Facebook, Google, YouTube, and many others. And then through this one portal, have our event televised, basically, on the internet. So another one that lends itself, and I hope that first one, right? Positive impatience, right? You want to get things done. You want to move forward aggressively. Do it with the right information. Do it with as much information as you can get that's as objective as possible. Look for those research tools that are right in front of you, that are still here. The library is a plethora of free, I won't even say free, we pay taxes. That's where it comes from. Understand that, there you go, understand our community, the structure. So we do pay taxes, even as tenants. Impatience, you want to get things done. You want to move with a certain amount of urgency. And another perspective, by the way, is work can sometimes be extended to fill the time allotted. So instead of saying you're going to spend all day or all week on a project, give yourselves specific hours, as long as it's realistic, right? As long as it's realistic. A second point we're going to be discussing is destroying the excuse maker. Destroying the excuse maker. We are full of excuses, aren't we? Well, I can't do that because I don't have money. I don't have transportation. The stars are not aligned. Something is distracting me. Something is taking away. Something is blocking me. Well, you know, the game that we can play on that one is very simple. If you were going to receive $1 million once you get this project done, how soon could you get this project done? Right? Now, you might say, well, there is no $1 million. Really? Well, look at the time it takes for us to work in life and how much money opportunity is lost. Look at the relationships that we do not invest and do not strategically execute on gambits that would endear that person to us, and look at what is lost. So value, and certainly what we always talk about in managing change, is value you define. We talk about wealth, define it. Let's stop defaulting to a financial place of meaning. Because the irony is many people who have a lot of money lose badly in other significant areas of their life. We've heard it time and time again. In fact, a friend of mine and I were talking last night, and I'm going to actually do a blog on that one later on today, about sports athletes, right? These people are young, very competent, very skilled sports athletes. And their window of opportunity is increasingly and incredibly short. Some 2 years, 5 years at the most. If you're lucky, you get 15 years. And unfortunately, because of the level of competency of the competition, you can be kicked out very quickly. So the deal is, how do you take advantage of that skill? How do you leverage that skill? So destroying the excuse maker in you is understanding the lay of the land. What are the competition? What is the competition doing? What can you do to subscribe to that way of addressing your particular needs? And then showing value, subscribing value to what you would get out of engaging or completing that project. So is it, again, at work? And I'll say this about work, by the way. Don't do it because of external reward. Do it because it adds to your efficacy. Do it because it adds to your skill base. Do it because it's transferable into another profession. It opens a door to multiple professions. You know, we use in project management, what's the story of, the example of what has a doctor and a plumber in common. If you look at those two skill sets, they are very common, very similar, because they're moving gases and fluids through systems. Now, if you happen to lose your license, which many physicians do, you could go into business as a plumber. Now, you might immediately say, well, Ron, I didn't go and get a PhD in cardiovascular surgery and to mess around with messy, oily, greasy, gas black pipe. The reality is, all you have to do is to go to some of the medical state boards and see how many doctors and physicians and pharmacists are losing their licenses because of malpractice, because they lost sight of the goal. So again, broaden your perspective, broaden your understanding of what's going on in this economy, because it's hitting peers that, we lost connection. We lost connection, we got connection. Okay. So broaden your understanding of what's going on in the economy. Don't think that just because someone has a higher education or someone is seemingly socially better connected, that they have it in the bag. By having this broad perspective of how you can apply these tools and resources, these other ways of doing your business, conducting your business, you open yourself up to other opportunities of moving forward when you have a challenge, when the road is blocked, when someone gets in your way. Here's another one which I'm probably going to finish up on today, because we have 7, actually 8. I always say 7, then the bonus 8. But this one is also very important. Your relationship to money. So here's a question. How much money do you want? If you had an open wallet, the Federal Reserve, Fort Knox said, you go in there with your 20-ton trucks, as many as you want, as long as you want, you take out all the money. How much money would you take? And if those who are listening, if you would, just say how much money. Just $1 million, 10 million, 50 million, 500 million. Another way of asking you this question. If you identified a skill, a profession, an interest, how much money would that take for you to fulfill? And again, just jot down your numbers there. Just throw any numbers. 100,000, 300,000, 300 million. Okay, now here's the rub. How much money do you think you need to be comfortable? Now, those are all 3 trick questions, because the irony behind the question is you should have said infinite, because you only need maybe 500, maybe 2 million, maybe 10 million, maybe 200 million. What could you do with all the other nonprofits of interest areas and need other people could benefit from? Didn't think about that. Let me say that one last time. If I had an endless supply of money, I would set up nonprofits and, 1, ensure people had fresh drinking water around the world, because 40% of the planet doesn't. So that's sustenance. Number 2, I would ensure all young kids had free education around the world, because that is lost intellectual capital that you will never recover. Remember I said before, what could you not recover? And thirdly, I would make sure that all children, and notice I'm always focusing on the kids, because that is the new level of species that can rise above the frustration, pain, and limitations that we possess, right? We're always trying to elevate the species. And I would ensure that they have the education, they have multi-international exposure, so that they understand and experience the need of others, to see the similarities of us all. Now, I've been around the sun a few times, as you can see from the mustache, right? That's how I think today. Can you imagine if you could get kids 5, 6, 10 years old thinking that same way at that age? And I dare say that's how I thought back then anyway. Our social systems are not here to move us in a positive way so that we become self-evolving, self-thinking creationists, right? Not creationists in life. I'm not talking about that religion stuff. I'm talking about creating. You know the expression I've used. Create, develop, produce. You develop and produce your legacy of life. So I'm going to finish with that. Again, unashamedly, unabashingly, April the 24th at the New Jersey Business and Industry Association in Trenton, New Jersey. If you're anywhere in the area, if you have a smartphone, a tablet, what are those other things? Laptops, a PC, just go to Capital Region Minority Chamber of Commerce.org, I believe. And of course, New Jersey Business and Industry Association. And you will find us there. Of course, you'll find us all over the social media real estate that we have. We'll be posting the new date, because March was snowed out. And you'll be able to hear and see and engage with us. Certainly the small business owners, that would be of great interest. So today's discussion was all about the psychology of winning in life. We're going to be talking about the psychology of winning in business, which is a little bit more focused. This is Ronald Allen, Managing Change on Facebook Live Chat. Kristen, thank you very much. I only caught the end, but thank you for the perspective. When I post it on my YouTube channel, guys, which I have set it up, and I'm using Restream to send it out to multiple sites, you can see all my Managing Change Facebook Live chats on our YouTube channel. Just type in Ronald M. Allen or Managing Change or Managing Life's Changes. It's on Google, it's on Facebook, and of course the YouTube live chat. Today's discussion was all about the psychology of winning in life, and we gave you just 3 specific gambits and how to use them and the resources that were available. Thanks for checking in. This is Ronald Allen, Managing Change on Facebook live chat. You know where to find me.